I love you, Arsenal fans, but I don't. So I hope that she goes there and Bunny Shaw and Miedema just like wreck Arsenal. That would be amazing to watch, especially in the Emirates. I have to
Ash, you're going to get us cancelled before we even get
yeah.
started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of All About the W. This is a podcast where we do weekly reviews of the Barclays Women's Super League. My name is Kai.
Hi, I'm Ash.
Ash has been kind enough to join me as co host for this podcast. Hopefully, this will be a fun ride. Probably slightly chaotic, but hopefully, we'll have some fun. Well, the WSL always offers chaos, so let's see how it goes. But Ash, before we get started, do you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a Spurs fan for the last 20 years. But unfortunately, I haven't been following women's football for very long. And it was thanks to Kai that I got introduced to women's football in the first place. So I'm really excited about this season, especially because I tuned in to Spurs last season and we had that excellent cup run. So super excited about this season and I hope that it goes really well. And um what about you, Kai? Like, I feel like people want to know more about you as well.
Yeah. So I'm a Chelsea fan, and I started watching women's football after the 2023 World Cup. Well, I got into it during the 2023 World Cup, and I mean, last season was insane. A lot happened. Just experienced all the highs and lows of football one possibly could, and yeah, and very very excited to do this pod. I've gotten hooked to women's football now, so very, very excited for the upcoming season. There's a lot of change happening at Chelsea. The pre-season's looking good under Bompastor, and yeah, um, excellent signings, which we'll talk about more soon.
Yeah, I also feel excited about starting this pod because I feel like we're both sufficiently new to women's football. So it's like whoever joins us can go on this journey with us. So if you're a newbie, then it just like it's a great entry point as well. So I'm excited about doing this pod with Kai for that reason.
Yeah, so Ash, do you want to get started with the transfers
Oh yeah,
for
my
this
God,
first episode?
this season transfers just been mad. Like I was just Kai sent me like this big Excel list and there was some 136 signings on that counting loans, and this is not even I'm not even talking about contract renewals. This is just incomings, like new incomings and loans. 136, that's mad. And I
That
mean
is
there was
crazy.
it is crazy, isn't it? Like, and I think there were some clubs that even broke their transfer records. So more money coming to the WSL. That's amazing as well. I think Liverpool,
Yeah,
West Ham, they broke their records. So
with
yeah,
I think
it's
Liverpool with Olivia Smith, right? Like we'll get into that as well. Do you want to get started with, I'm guessing, Arsenal? I know you're very excited to talk about
yeah.
Arsenal as a
I'm
Spurs
super.
fan.
I mean, as a Spurs fan, I rejoiced at their loss last night to FC Haken. It was just wonderful to watch their continuing their poor Champions League form. Like they didn't get Kira Walsh over the line as well. Many Arsenal fans wanted that, like from Barcelona. And possibly that's a good thing because now they can get her on a free or they can get her in January for much lower. But I'm just happy it didn't happen. They still had a decent window, I think. They got Van Domsela, they got Rosa Kafaji from Haken. I mean, Haken's really been reduced to smithereens because so many of them have come to the WSL. They got Mariona Caldente on the left. Do you think, although I still think, on the right, yesterday Beth Mead was playing, but if she gets injured, I think Ford, that's the replacement. Do you think that's a real drop off? Do you think that they could have done more in the transfer window?
Yeah, that's actually, I generally think Arsenal did well with their transfers. They didn't do too much. Like they have a fairly stable squad. So Ford also usually plays off the left. So like Caldente and Ford are sort of fighting for that position. So that is, I think, primarily the issue Arsenal is going to have because Beth Mead's form has also dropped a little bit. And
Yeah.
there is not a whole lot of depth there. And as we saw against Hakan, it was like deja vu from the last season, right? Like really struggling against low blocks, and really just struggling in the final third. Hitting the crossbar a couple of times, but not really creating any big chances as well. So there's a bit of lack of creativity there, and I do think Arsenal genuinely lack pace, especially in the front line. Apart from say Blackstenius, who can be really fast. So yeah, I think that right wing position is definitely a place where it's probably the only part of the pitch I would say they actually lack depth.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, they were slightly let down by that goalkeeper last season, but I do think they had one of the best defenses in the league. So I do think that on the whole, they're a really well balanced team. Apart from that one like right wing position, I'd like to see how they like. I'm sure they'll strengthen in Jan, but at this point, if Bethmead was injured, I think, last year as well. So at this point, I'm guessing they'll wrap her in cotton wool and keep her
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, Mead's also coming back from a niggle as well, I think,
Yeah.
into the Hakan game. She was carrying an injury in America, I believe, when they were doing the preseason tour. But yeah, overall, I think I'm very excited about Kafaji. I think she's a super creative player, a signing for the future as well. She's young. Yeah, just plays with so much confidence and just incredible flair. I'm a big fan, and I'm a little bummed that she's gone to Arsenal. Um,
Yeah.
but we move. It's fine.
I mean, how do you feel about them getting Van Domsela for goal? Do you think that was a good
I
signing for Villa?
I think Villa really fumbled there because I think Van Domselaar is an excellent keeper. There's no doubt about it. And the thing about Villa is that their backline sucks so much that um, it's really hard to make any keeper look good. So I think the same thing happened with Hannah Hampton the season before that, and they let Hampton go, and now they've left uh, Van Domselaar as well to be picked up by Arsenal. So I think it's an excellent signing, and again, Arsenal desperately needed depth in that goalkeeper position as well because last season Manu Zinsberger and Sabrina D'Angelo also did not have a great season. They didn't keep too many clean sheets. Errors that could have been prevented. So I think Van Domselaar is an excellent addition. I think we have to see when she starts playing because again she's also coming back from a hip injury. So hopefully she'll be fit and firing, you know, uh, not too long into the season.
Yeah. Where do you want to go
So
next?
I think maybe we'll go to Chelsea next. Um, and I think I'll get started here because I'm very excited for the season. It's like it's a clean slate, and all the players and the interviews and the media day that they've been saying that it's a fresh start for all of us. Nobody gets any favors or anything. You be starting from scratch, and everybody seems super excited about it. And Bompastor, I think, I mean, her records speak for themselves. She has won the Champions League with Lyon as a player and as coach. So Chelsea, well, Champions League is their white whale. So hopefully she'll be able to get that with the club as well. But in terms of transfers, I think the one that excites me the most is Vika Kaptein, the Dutch international. Technically, Vika is not a new signing. She was signed last year, but she went on loan back to 20. So she's
I
been
had a
looking
question
good
about that.
preseason.
I had a question about that. I was wondering if I feel like you're the best person to ask you. So like with Captain there, do you worry about Chelsea's midfield because she's still really young, like to put that on her shoulders. Uh, so do you have any worries about Chelsea's central midfield?
Yes, I'm always worried about Chelsea's midfield. No, but genuinely, you know what? The person who could have possibly brought in some experience in that midfield is Sophie Ingle, and she's unfortunately torn her ACL. So yeah, best wishes to her in her recovery, because what a terrible injury. Um, but yeah, now Erin Cuthbert therefore becomes the most experienced player in the midfield, and Erin is like 25 years old. So it's going to be really interesting. The lack of experience is something that it's not just the lack of experience, it's also the lack of depth. If one more person in that midfield between Erin Vika and Sjokanuskan, one of them was to get injured, then yeah, it feels pretty lightweight at this point. But we also know, I think the reason I'm not too worried about the experience bit is because Erin Cuthbert is like a proper leader. She also filled in as
Right.
captain last season. She's somebody who's super vocal on the pitch as well. So yeah, I'm not too worried about the experience bit. I think it's the depth bit that I'm actually worried about.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Vika. Yeah, go on,
I
go
mean,
on.
Chelsea's had like a mad transfer window as well in some senses. Chelsea are stacked. Like, I think that honestly, I know you're worrying about depth, but nobody from Chelsea has a right to worry about depth. There was a point at which you had 41 players. That is
Yes.
insane as a squad. I know that a lot of people were on loan, but
Yeah.
41 players is insanity. So, like Chelsea, I think they needed also to cull the squad a little bit, and everyone does better also. Plus, in preseason, you won 9-0 against Feyenoord. Like 9-0 is a mad score. Like, it's just an amazing preseason, and you got some big names. There's Sandy Baltimore, there's Lucy Bronze, there's Julia Bartel. So, how do you feel about any of these people? Free to.
Uh, I think, you know what, in terms of the preseason, I mean, even the 9-0 win against Feyenoord, it was basically the entire team was changed at one point. We had like a starting 11 and an 11 that finished. And the fact that the quality did not drop too much, I think that speaks to the depth. And yes, Bompastor has done a good job of trimming the squad down a little bit. And Chelsea will always be accused of having a very big squad, and
Chelsea
well,
loan
no
army.
comment. Yeah, loan army, exactly. So, in terms of other signings, I think Baltimore has looked really, really bright. She has scored a couple of goals already. She's slotted into the front line very, very easily. She's got pace. She's technically very, very gifted. So I'm excited about Baltimore as well. There's a bit of real competition in that front line. Like, our forward line is absolutely insane. The depth there is mad. Um, then Lucy Bronze. I think Lucy Bronze, the signing has been a bit of a it's got like a bit of a mixed reaction, because um, she's not like the young Lucy Bronze anymore. So she struggles a little bit positionally, tracking back and things like that, because she is an attacking fullback at the end of the day. So there's been mixed response from the Chelsea fan base. For me, but the spiel has been, in every interview, has been Lucy Bronze has won 5 Champions League trophies with Lyon and Barcelona combined, and she wants to do it with a third club. And
Yeah.
she thought, okay, where do I go to do that? Especially if I want to do it with a club in England. And she felt that Chelsea is a place to go. And Bompastor, with this transition happening, it just made sense for her. And you know what? Having that experience is what it takes to get us over the line in the Champions League, I'm happy with it. And while
Yeah,
we
that's
have
exactly
three
what I was
right
thinking.
backs, yeah, we have three right backs, including Lucy Bronze. But you know what? Screw it. Like, oh, we'll keep Lucy Bronze. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, yeah, like at this point, if that's the monkey on your back, then you just have to get Champions League winners. Because I do feel like, once you won that tournament, you know how to do it again. So it's best to like pack your squad with a little bit of experience in order to do that. So I
Yeah,
think that's a,
absolutely.
it's a great step towards that Champions League. I mean, I still think Barcelona are the favorites for the Champions League, but their financial troubles might figure, and they failed to, like I said, they failed to sell Kira Walsh, and they've had a few uh, failed to sell signings. So
Right.
like their financial situation just gotten worse. So I think that all of that might. I mean, not that Chelsea's financial situation right now is. Well, never mind.
Let's not even get into that.
Well,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just can't.
Transfers. This is transfers.
Yeah, transfers, exactly. So moving on from Chelsea, because obviously we're going to do reviews of every match day, so we get to talk a lot more about how the transfers are faring in the team. So Aishwarya, what is your thought on Spurs' transfer window?
Oh my God, I'm so confused about this transfer window because, all Spurs fans, we collectively fell in love with Gracie Clinton, like enamored. We were just like, the amount of love we have for her is just insane, insanity. And, we were like hoping that from somewhere, like she will realize that that we have for her, and she will just sign just because of like affection and no like real career prospects or whatever. But obviously we knew that inevitably we will lose her to United. What we didn't expect, and which was a dagger to the heart, was that Bizet followed her. And so it just
Besties forever.
yeah, they're just like, we're besties, we go where each other goes. And I mean, the dream we had was that Bizet and Clinton would be playing together, and they will be, but for United. So that sucks. But we got in Haley Raso. I do like her. She's got a lot of experience, and she's still young, like she has a lot to offer from Real Madrid. She's The only problem that I've seen from her is that she seems to lack goals. And we need a goal scorer, because like, to be honest, even though we have Martha Thomas and Beth England, what happens is that I don't think Rob has still figured out where to play them, because he wants to play them together, and it's just not happening, because he'll try one in the 10 and the other in the 9, and then he like switch it up, or he'll sort of like play one or the other. And that's just, it's not been working for us. And last season was not a good season for Beth England, because she was injured and she didn't really come back well. So I do feel like we lack goal scoring ability, and with Bizet also out, that feels like a problem to me. But we had a few exciting young players that came in. Ella Morris came in, and then we also we also got in a few fullbacks, which we really needed, because Ash Neville, she's getting on in the years a little bit, and she's always been a more traditional fullback. So we got in like Amanda Neildon, who I think is really really talented, and I also feel like she's a more like, how do you say, like modern fullback. So it's good to have her as a rotation option. I do think that
Right.
Ash Neville will play less games now, and I do welcome that, because I feel like our defense was our biggest issue. Even with
Mhm.
the lack of a goal scorer, I think the defense was a bigger problem. Like, if you saw the final against United,
Mm.
we were just ravaged. Like, our defense was just ravaged, and I do
Yeah.
think that we can do a little bit better than that. Morris as well is a really really good signing from Southampton, and she
Yeah.
won best young player of the season or something like that. So
Yeah, she's
super
a
super
highly
excited
rated
about that.
English international, I think. Yeah, that's very, honestly, I was a little confused. I think confused is actually a good word for it, because Raso, again, like you said, is a good signing, but I think what she could possibly offer is pace, because she's a very pacey winger.
Yeah,
So
I think my
with
problem with
Jess
the
Nas, coming off the left, I think like she's also very fast.
Yes.
So I was just wondering if there's a possibility of them combining when when Martha Thomas can like hold up the ball and things like that. But
Yeah, I think the
beyond
problem with
that,
that is that like Rasso's significantly older, in the sense that Bizet has the ceiling is higher. Even though I would
correct.
say at this point Rasso might be a better player, with Bizet that ceiling was higher, and if we had Naz and Bizet playing, that would have been amazing to see them grow together, because they're both young players. But uh, I'm a little confused by this signing, because like the promise was that Rob is going to build like this young team, and it's like we have experience, we have people like Ash Neville and Beth England. So I think we didn't really need. Uh, I think what we needed was just a genuine goal scorer, and I don't think Raso is that person. But I do believe that she'll create a lot of opportunities for Beth England, which is also in itself a good thing. So if that's the case, I'd welcome that. And yeah, that's about it on the Spurs thing. We also signed Mete Oros from Real Madrid.
Right.
So that could be an exciting signing as well. Let's see.
Is she
I'm
somebody who has, is she like a box crashing midfielder? Like, what's her profile like?
No, I think she's more of like a central midfielder, but I do think that she'll help steady the ship. We have a lot of people in midfield. We have we have like Sumanin and we have Kid Graham to be that box crashing midfielder sort of situation. So that's not what we really needed. We just needed to steady the ship a little bit. I think that she offers that, and she does have the ability to go forward from what I've seen. Obviously, these are just from comps videos. You don't really get to see this stuff until it happens in real life. And I really don't know how Rob is going to set up this season, but I'm
Right.
hoping for the best with Spurs. I think it was a mixed bag in terms of transfers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I think moving on to Man City, I think another club that, I mean, really pushed Chelsea to the very end in the last season. I think they've had a decent window, I'd say, especially with the signing of Miedema. So, and honestly,
Hasn't already scored a goal against, I think it was Paris FC,
it
was
was an
it?
acrobatic goal. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was a really fun goal, and honestly, yeah, Miedema is their statement signing in that sense. So yeah, I think they've added a bit of depth. I think they really uh, got caught last season with Bunny Shaw getting injured, because seriously, there is no doubt in my mind that City would have won the league if Bunny Shaw wasn't injured. Like, that goal difference, there is no way Chelsea would have made up that goal difference. So adding that depth is crazy. And the other player in City, the new signing that excites me is Alba Fujino. She's looked really good in the Champions League game as well as in the preseason. She's somebody, yes, she seems super creative. Somebody who can carry the ball, has a good cross in her. A young player as well. So there's a bit of depth that they've added to the front line yet again. With City, I think the thing that worries me is like depth in other parts of the pitch, like
Yeah.
their
I
midfield.
mean, I think
For,
that's what let them down last season as well. I think they could have won the league if they had more depth. I do feel by the end of it they sort of struggled to get there, to get over the line. So I do think they should have strengthened a little bit more.
Right, absolutely, and even defense as well. Esme Morgan is left, so um, it's yeah. We'll have to see how they manage the squad, especially with Champions League on the horizon. I think they've already beat Paris FC final in the first leg, despite leaving Bunny Shaw behind.
Yeah,
Um,
that was fun. That was
anyway,
hilarious. I don't know. Like,
I
I suppose the city lawyers are really busy right now because, like, I do not know how they forgot to get their player a visa. But
yeah.
like, I do think that if Niedema gets some form, like, I know that her Arsenal career ended really badly, and that's on Arsenal fans. For whatever reason, she was a club legend. I think that estrangement could have happened much more cordially. But I hope that she goes now. Emirates, Arsenal versus City. I hope she goes and smashes them. I
Yeah.
hope that, like, I love you, Arsenal fans, but I don't. So I hope that she just, like, she goes there and Bunny Shaw and Niedermar just like wreck Arsenal. That would be amazing to watch, especially in the Emirates. I have to
Ash, you're going to get us cancelled before we even get
say,
started.
hey, I think, I mean, as a Spurs fan, I know that Arsenal fans love the banter. I think
Yeah, that's
they
that's fair
respect.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
and for Miedema's sake, listen, I'm not a big fan of Arsenal either. So for Miedema's sake, I'd say, you know what, just for the drama of it all, I really want Miedema to score like at least
Yeah.
one goal, if not a brace, or a hat trick
Yeah,
would
my
even
God.
be
Just
even better.
honestly, even if it's like an assist to Bunny Shaw or something like that, I don't care
Oh,
what it is. Like that, it just I need her to do well. Like I especially in
yeah.
that game. After that game, I don't care. But like for that game, I just wanted to do really well, and I really hope the Arsenal fans appreciate that and they don't boo her or anything.
I don't think they would because Miedema is just a club legend.
Yeah,
I don't. I just don't see it happening. And the thing about Miedema is also that like she doesn't celebrate goals,
yeah,
so
she
it's
does.
not
And
like she's
she's
gonna
a
do a
class
knee
act.
slide or something.
Yeah, yeah, she is a
Uh,
class act. So
yeah. So yeah, I don't think she's gonna get any boost. In fact, I feel like she might actually get like a proper standing ovation or something from the Emirates, but who knows? Yeah, we'll wait and see. Do you want to quickly move on to some other clubs? Maybe do United and Liverpool quickly before we
yeah,
move on to the predictions?
let's do United really quickly. Like I mentioned, the Clinton Bizet saga with Spurs. Um, they signed Elizabeth Turland, which I think is a great signing. She was joint top scorer last year. So they haven't replaced Mary Earps. So I'm wondering whether they think Fallon is up to the job, and if Fallon gets injured, I'm wondering if they have enough depth there at goalkeeping. They signed Dominique Janssen from Wolfsburg as a central defender. So I feel like that's really like that's good that they showed up their defense. I think they're looking good. I think they've had a decent transfer window. I'd say they've had one of the
Yeah.
best transfer windows.
Right. I maybe slightly I think it's been like with United, it's been like a bit of extremes in that you knew Mary Earps was leaving for like 15 months. Like, what were you doing? Like, why do you not have a goalkeeper? Because
Yeah.
the thing with Fallon Tallis-Joyce is that she is an experienced goalkeeper. She has like a fair bit of experience in the NWSL, but Mark Skinner never played her last season. Like Mary Earps was a starting goalkeeper in all the WSL games. I don't know. She might have had appearances in like some FA Cup games or Conti Cup games and things like that. But in the WSL, she doesn't have a whole lot of experience. So um, which is fair enough. He like Skinner has faith in the keeper, but like you said, the lack of depth. Um, they tried to sign Lisa Cobb from Leicester, who is a decent like second choice, I'd say, and they couldn't get that over the line. So now they do not have like a viable second choice keeper, which I think is just like for a club of United stature, like it's just not acceptable. But at the same time, like you said, signing like a player like Turland, and they've had like a lot of outgoings as well, like a lot of experience that has gone out in Katie Zellum, who was a club captain, and Lucia Garcia, who was actually really, really dynamic in that front line as well. So I think, yeah, it's been for me. I think it's a bit of a mixed bag because that goalkeeper mess up is just, yeah, it's just not done for me.
Yeah, I think so as well. Do you want to quickly just do Liverpool? I don't know much about what they did in the transfer window. I know they did a bunch of business. So just like if you could quickly go over that.
Yeah, so basically they didn't have a very, very busy transfer window. I think the standout for me is probably Olivia Smith, the Canadian international. I think they've signed her from Sporting FC. That was the record transfer for Liverpool, which is great. And yeah, I think Liverpool with Matt Beard, they really overperformed last season. I mean, maybe not overperformed is not the right word, but like they exceeded expectations quite a bit, finishing above United, doing the double over United, and beating Chelsea,
Yeah.
beating Arsenal. So they took a lot of points off the top four. So I am hoping to see because they have a fairly stable squad. Um, like honestly, players who just like put their bodies on the line. I think that's something seems like the Matt Beard, requirement if you need to play for Matt Beard, because in so many matches that I saw, a lot of their players like Gemma Bonner, who basically got a gash on her lip, defending at Lee Sports Village. But just a bunch of hardworking players, and they can be super organized in a low block as well. And tactically, I think Beardy, like Matt Beard, is like very flexible. So
Yeah.
it's very yeah, it's just super exciting. I'm excited to see how Liverpool fare.
Yeah, same here. I think Liverpool are an exciting team, and I have no, I'm not, I don't grudge them any of their success. So I feel happy when they do win. And just quickly on Crystal Palace as a promoted team, I think that they've had a decent window. They've brought in some experience. There's Lily Woodham who has some WSL experience. Katie Stengel, Lexi Potter is a really good, like a good signing for them at that level. She's from Chelsea, decent midfielder. Josie Green. Their pre-season didn't go so well because they lost to Bristol and they've had few ups and downs. But I do rate like Poppy Pritchard, for example. I mean, from the
Mm.
comps I've seen, that girl can score from anywhere. So that's really impressive. I mean, that's all really that I can say about Crystal Palace. I'm just looking forward to that game. I do think Spurs have enough to beat them, but we'll
Mhm.
talk about that later.
Yeah.
And just really quick, do you have Brighton's just one confusing club? There have been so many transfers, and every season we see this. They got a new manager in again. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's too much to talk about with Brighton. Do you have any special comments or mentions you want to do?
Uh, for me with Brighton, what I'm really hoping for is a good season because there's just been a lot of instability there. A lot of managers have gotten sacked in the last, I don't know, 3 years. I've lost track, but yeah, under DePau is the manager now, right?
It's
Um,
Dario Vidosic.
Oh,
Vidosic.
sorry. This is the person from Melbourne. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping there's some Vidosic, right? Yeah,
Vidosic? I
hoping.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that they would get a bit of stability there, and I think adding players like Fran Kirby and Nikita Paris, people who have experience, would maybe offer the stability that they're looking for, because these
Yeah.
are players that demand a lot on the pitch. So with like that mix of youth and experience, I think Brighton could be up there competing to be in that top half of the table. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Just very hopeful.
Yeah, I feel like we got through all the transfers. Well
Yes,
done. Well
yeah,
done,
we
us.
tried. Yeah, but yeah, like I said earlier, we'll be talking about all the new signings through the season, like how they're slotting into their respective teams. So sorry that we've not covered every single team, but hopefully we'll be able to talk about all the players over the course of the season. So Ash, do you want to move on to some predictions that we have?
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it. I will
So
follow your lead.
who do you have down as the league winner, the WSL title winner for 24-25 season?
I feel like it's going to be Chelsea again. Chelsea is such a juggernaut. I hate Chelsea for that reason. I can't stand how good Chelsea are. And I was hoping that in a post, like Emma Hayes period, that there'd just be like maybe a chance for somebody else to get a foot through. But like looking at the current Chelsea team, I think that they're just going to smash everyone. I don't see any future for anyone else.
Yeah, I don't jinx Chelsea, please.
I mean, I hope I jinx them, but
Yeah, I bet you do. No, I was really confused between Arsenal and City because I just think, listen, like I agree there's a lot of squad depth, but it is a club. I mean, not a well, the club is in transition, of course, but the women's part of the club is also in transition, right? Like you have a new managers come in. There's a lot of change in the backroom staff as well. Um, and those things behind the scenes do affect performance. So I honestly, as a Chelsea fan, I hope the Chelsea wins the league. But if they do not, I don't think I'd be mad about it. I mean, I say this now, but when we start losing games, you will see me have an absolute
yeah,
meltdown.
then guys gonna be
But
like, I hate this team.
I hate this club. Why am I supporting this stupid club? No, but
But
on a serious note, I do think this is a time for like Arsenal or City to capitalize on
yeah,
this transition, right? So, like for me, Arsenal has a settled squad, right?
yeah,
So, and they have mad depth in the squad. Like whatever. Like, say what you want about Chelsea, but I also think Arsenal have like crazy amount of depth.
Yeah,
But
but
honestly,
depth ain't going to do anything if you're not going to score against a low block. You can beat City and Chelsea all you want, but if you're going to be losing to Spurs and Villa and West Ham, then there's no point to all that depth.
listen, Jonas Eidewall seems very confident. He said that they created chances. It's just a matter of putting them away. He's been saying that for like 2 seasons now. So let's see. Let's see where that goes. But no, my money is on City.
Yeah,
I just think, uh, yeah, despite all the concerns that I'd raised about the backline, like I do worry for them in terms of injury, and also I worry for them in terms of playing Champions League because they've not done that in a while.
yeah.
So uh, they've in fact not played this new format of Champions League where you have group stage games as well.
Honestly, I
So
genuinely don't see City going very far in the Champions League. I actually think that it will be a problem for Chelsea rather than City, because I imagine Chelsea going to the final, and I feel like that could be the only distraction from the league, which is that possibly Chelsea could lose the league because they're aiming for the Champions League, and because they'll be in all the tournaments, it's possible that they'll be like in two or three tournaments at the same time. So that's where I see Chelsea faltering on the league.
yeah, I agree. I mean, that almost happened to Chelsea last season, right? Like,
Yeah.
because Chelsea was the only English team in the Champions League, so the burden that comes with that is just massive. But you're right. I also don't see City going too far into the Champions League, which is why I do think there is a possibility there of them finishing first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my top three prediction is City, Chelsea, Arsenal. Yes,
Yeah,
that is where
I
I
think
feel.
mine is Chelsea, City, Arsenal, because obviously I'm always going to put Arsenal as far back as I can, like logically put them.
Yeah. I think we'll talk about some of the cup run predictions and things like that maybe in
Yeah,
another episode.
yeah,
I think it'll be useful for us to also see how the teams are playing, how the different teams are setting up under new managers and things like that to get a better sense. Do you have a golden boot winner prediction?
Golden Boot winner prediction. I think that this Beth England last season didn't really perform because she was injured and like lots of stuff was happening. I reckon that this year the Golden Boot will not be from the top three teams and it will be Beth England. There's something in my
Ooh.
heart that goes Beth England.
Are you manifesting it, Ash?
I'm manifesting it. Universe, you listening?
Nice, nice. I think, yeah, I think I feel similarly as well because there's a lot of, there's going to be a lot of rotation in the top three. Like when I say top three, I mean Arsenal, City, and Chelsea, because they are playing. I mean, Arsenal might play Champions League. We don't know yet,
Yeah.
but at least City
Come
and
on,
Chelsea are
FC
going to play.
happen.
Oh man, but you know what? To be fair, like this happened with Chelsea as well against BK
Yeah.
Hakan last time, where we drew against them but then managed to win the second leg. And one goal deficit is fine. I think they can make up for it at Meadow Park. Like I mean, there's the fans are going to be there. They're going to be loud.
Yeah.
I do think they'll get over the line there.
Yeah.
But so I think because there's going to be a lot of rotation, I don't see a golden boot winner from the top three. I think if Skinner does play Turland as a first choice striker, I think I would go with Turland as
Yeah.
the Golden Boot winner. If not, if she doesn't play as first choice striker, then I would say Bunny Shaw because she's just like
She's
unstoppable.
fantastic, phenomenal. And
She is, yeah.
yeah, City, the
Oh,
forward, my God, City's forwards are just chef's kiss, you
did you
know.
see the Jess Park goal against Paris FC? Oh,
Oh
the
my
little back
God.
flick from Lauren Hemp. Oh, that was the run that she made. My God,
My God, just
it's
mad.
absolutely insane. Beautiful goal. Uh, yeah. So that's where I'm at with the Golden Boot. Do you have a Golden Glove prediction?
I mean, I don't really. I'm not sure. I feel like whichever team has the best defense, maybe. Do you have a Golden Glove prediction? I can't say.
I
It's too
don't
close to
like.
call.
I wanna. I feel like Chelsea will keep the most clean sheets.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my. It's not necessarily a hot take, but I think Chelsea might keep the most clean sheets. Um, But again, Chelsea, I foresee Bompasta rotating goalkeepers. So
Yeah.
it'll be between Musovic and Hannah Hampton. So I don't think it'll be either of them. So yeah, maybe even I don't have a Golden Glove winner
Yeah, it's, it's
prediction.
it's a strange one, isn't it? It's just too close to
Yeah,
call, I think.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll see how the season goes. Do you have a young player of the season prediction?
Um, Young player of the season. I feel like I just since I said Beth England, I'm just gonna go Spurs all the way and say Ella Morris.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Do you reckon Rob's gonna start her? Like, do you think
I,
she's going
I
to
mean,
be like a
yeah,
starter in
I
the team?
I feel like she might be because our we're famously bad defense. I feel like anything would be an improvement. I don't know how old is Grace Clinton now. Does she still qualify?
You know what? I actually have a theory about this.
Yeah,
So okay, this might be stemming from a little bitterness that I have about LJ not winning the Young Player of the
21.
Season. Yeah. So the thing is, LJ won Young Player of the Season last season. That is 22-23 season,
Yeah,
and she was in contention this season as well, and she didn't
yeah.
win. Grace Clinton did. So I have a feeling that is there like a one
No,
only
there
you can
isn't. You
win?
can win it twice. No, then stop with the conspiracies. You can win it again.
Yeah, fair enough. Listen, I'm a big Grace Clinton fan, so I was only a little bitter. I wasn't too bitter about LJ not winning it. But yeah, for me, I think I'm just super excited by Fika Captain. She
Yeah,
just looks marvelous. I think it's going to be between Captain and like Kafaji. Um,
yeah,
and hopefully they can like make the necessary impact for the two
yeah.
teams. But yeah, those are my shouts.
I've just been naming people out of the top three because I don't want to name an Arsenal player and I don't want to name a Chelsea player. And I'm stuck with City. So
Uh,
like I'm so
yeah.
biased. I'm sorry. I don't all the fans of all these clubs, please support us even though I suck.
No, but you know what? I mean, if you want to go City, I guess maybe like somebody like Laura Blinkilde Brown. I think she could be. She's a very exciting midfielder. But yeah, I
Possibly.
mean, sorry, with City, yes. Do you have like a dark horse team this season? Somebody
A
who's just
dark
gonna
horse
snatch
team.
number 4 away or like number 5 away, like somebody who's just gonna perform like you know how Spurs and Liverpool exceeded expectations last season,
I mean,
like
I
something
won't
like that.
say I won't say in terms of dark horse in the sense of will snatch fourth or third or whatever. I'm thinking more along the lines of will do but exceed expectations. I think Brighton, if they can get all their players to gel, I think that they've gotten the recipe, like all the ingredients there to make a good team. So I think that they could have a decent run this season. That doesn't what that means in terms of the table. I'm not sure, but I do think that they're looking really exciting. And of course, there's always the chance that United breaks through because United is well as much as
United is not a dark horse. I'm sorry.
yeah, but I
I
mean,
am not going.
if we're saying the top three are City, Arsenal, and Chelsea, then we're saying everybody else is a dark horse, right?
Right. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. No, yeah, I think for me, I'm excited to see how Leicester shapes up because I thought
Yeah,
they played some exciting football. They had the unfortunate thing that happened with their manager. They still
yeah,
managed to like reach semifinals of the FA Cup. I They have a new manager as well. The French manager Amadine Mikel, I think is her
yeah,
name.
yeah,
Yeah, players seem super excited to be playing under her. So I think maybe Leicester. She's also signed some players from the French league as well. So it's going
yeah.
to be
They're almost
interesting
all
to,
French, like Chantel
yeah,
Swabi, Sari Keys,
Swabby, yeah.
Naomi Mosh. I can't pronounce most of these names because I'm not French. Shana Shoshano, Shoshano. Please
So what
excuse our
about,
Indian pronunciations.
yeah, yeah, please do. What about who do you think? What about relegation? Like, what do you think is going to happen down there in the table?
Um, I don't know. I feel like Palace haven't done enough. So I
Hmm.
feel like possibly we're going to see Palace being relegated. What
Right.
do you think?
Ooh, what do I think? I feel similarly, but I'm hoping that won't be the case. Like I
Yeah,
really want, it was really unfortunate with Bristol City last season. Like they played with a
yeah,
lot of heart. Palace, Chelsea had an FA Cup game against Palace. I think it was the fifth round or the quarterfinals, I think, and it was really tough. Like they were extremely organized. It we basically needed a wonder goal, like a back heel goal from
yeah,
Myra Ramirez to sort of get over the line there. So they were super organized. But I know there's been a lot of outgoing from the Palace team as well.
yeah.
So I'm really hoping they can compete. Um, West Ham have done a lot of signings. I mean, they were really uh, they basically had to make January signings to ensure that they don't get relegated. That's how
I
bad it
mean,
was
this is
last
the thing,
season for
right?
them.
Like with West Ham, I feel like they're always doing this in the sense that they're just staying up. I don't see them as having the ambition to like move on beyond that, and that's on the management because they don't put enough money into
Yeah,
the team and like just investment and sponsors and these sort of things so that they can
yeah,
just like go that they sign a star player, sign somebody with like that's the future and like go for it. It's like this is the women's football is still new enough that these positions apart from Chelsea are not like calcified. So if you just if you have a good run like last year Spurs, like last year Spurs were crap. We were nearly relegated, and last year we had an amazing cup run and reached a final. And we
yeah,
finished sixth for the first time. So it's really possible in women's football to just have these amazing runs if you just start with a good team. So I feel like West
right.
Ham, the lack of ambition that West Ham shows, they deserve to be relegated simply because of the management.
Yeah, no, you
And
know what? I genuinely feel that it's a possibility. Like for me, I think uh, it's just incredibly frustrating to see that because they can quickly throw money in January and get like a Katrina Gori or a Zadorsky
yeah,
like they did last season and sort of strengthen the ship. And then you let somebody like Honoka Hayashi, who I think is a very, very exciting player who was with West Ham. Like she has like a serious engine in her, like seriously. And they let her go to Villa. And Villa is
yeah,
somebody you should be competing with, uh, you know, to stay in the top six, top half of the
yeah.
table. And you let a player like Hayashi go to Villa. And that's just unacceptable. So honestly,
I
like
also think
yeah,
I also think the WSL is just right now it's too London based because there are some
mm,
what there five of the teams there's what Palace, West Ham, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal. Five of the teams in the WSL are like London teams, and I love that because one of those teams is my team, one of those teams is your team. But like
yeah,
on the whole, I would like to see like a more representative map.
yeah. That's true. Yeah. But yeah, I think my prediction is that West Ham might go down.
Yeah,
Um, but we'll have to see how again the new signing shape up because I honestly I'm not even going to pretend I know too many of these players that they've signed.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, it's an interesting group of players. That's I leave it at that. But do you want to quickly do like match day one predictions as well before we wrap up?
Yeah, just really quick. So you give us the game, and we'll just quickly.
Okay, first game Chelsea Villa.
Chelsea 2-1.
Yeah, I think Chelsea 1-0. Um, then we have United West Ham.
2-0 United.
I'd say 3-0 United. This is after I bashed United for like 20 minutes. But I did bash West Ham as well, so it's fine. 3-0 United. Brighton Everton, exciting.
Oh, that's exciting. I would say Everton because Brighton's not settled enough at this
Okay.
point.
I'd say a
Actually, I would say
draw, maybe
draw
2-2.
1-1.
Okay. Okay. I say draw 2-2. Then we have the big ticket game of match day
Oh,
one, which is Arsenal City.
3-1 City. Come on, City.
Listen, I want a draw.
Yeah.
I want a draw, and I want it to be, I don't know, like 1-1, 2-2, whatever, with Miedema
No,
scoring.
also
I
'cause
want
in
Miedema
the
to score.
Emirates, like I have to
Yeah,
give
it's at the
Arsenal
Emirates. Yeah,
kudos for this, that most of like their home games are all in the Emirates. That's
yeah.
amazing. I think all the clubs should follow suit, because I feel like most of these teams have outgrown, like the extras women's stadiums that they've been given.
Mhm.
They need to accommodate the interests of a larger crowd. So and the atmosphere is also better in the regular stadiums. Access as well is better. So I think kudos to Arsenal for like having all the home games at the Emirates. Villa as well at Villa Park.
Villa as well. Yeah.
So I'm excited about that, but I want to see them defeated at the Emirates. Come on,
Fair
City.
enough. It happened last season against Liverpool. It could this time as well. But I'm really hoping for a draw. Anyway, Spurs Crystal Palace. Skin in the game.
Spurs 1-0.
Okay, I say Spurs 2-1. No clean sheet.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, Liverpool Leicester is the last game of match day one.
2-1 Liverpool.
I'd say 2-1 Leicester.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I
because
like
I want
that.
Leicester to do well as well.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've heard a few podcasts where people are predicting Leicester getting relegated. And just like, are you mad?
Ooh.
That's mad.
I mean, honestly, they did almost get relegated in the last season, like as
Yeah,
in the
but it's still
22,
mad.
23 season. Yeah, I know, I know. I think it's relegation is going to be between West Ham and Palace in all likelihood. But yeah, that's all we have for today's episode. Um, so please follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and keep your notification button on as well. And find us on Spotify, and we'll share some of our all the links on our socials. So do listen to us, watch the pod, and support us. Thank you so much, everyone.
Also, remember to like this video and comment if you can so that we
Oh,
improve as
yeah.
well.
Yes, and share it with your football mates as well.
Yeah. I mean, share it with your football mates, friends, neighbors, haters, everybody.
Okay, great. Okay, listen to Ash. Do
Yeah.
that, whatever she's saying. Okay, excellent. Thanks so much for joining me, Ash. And thanks everyone for listening and watching. Continue to support us. Hopefully, we can bring you some exciting content in the future. Thank you so much. Bye.